Hello, friends. My name is Krissy Teegerstrom. I am an artist, and today I am talking to you about my role as a creative consultant. I work with different creatives to help them get past their obstacles and the barriers to achieving their creative dreams. And I have with me Lisa Keefauver. Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
And Lisa and I have been working together, it's hard to believe, for 5 years now.
I know.
It's pretty amazing. And when I met Lisa, I went on her podcast, Grief is a Sneaky Bitch. And after that, we went out for coffee, and I asked Lisa, what are your creative dreams? And she told me three things. She told me she wanted to become a grief activist, that she wanted to give a TED Talk, and that she wanted to publish a book. And as of June 2024, all three have been checked off the list. It's incredible. And now she's dreaming bigger dreams and moving forward.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk to Lisa today a little bit just to give you an idea of what it's like to work with me and why you might want to.
Yeah.
How does that sound? Good.
Amazing.
Okay, Lisa, how would you describe what it's like to have a session with me as your creative consultant?
Okay, well, you guys get ready for this because it's really hard to encapsulate that in just a few words, except I'm going to start with magical, really. It is some of the most sparky time I have as a creator. In fact, you even gave me the permission to call myself a creator, having been a social worker my whole career. And even though I had created nonprofits and done things, that example of even working with you and just early on, you being a sort of mirror to me and helping open up the possibility that I could even think about myself as a creator, which now looking back, of course I am. I had already created a podcast at that time. So working with you is sort of both magical and also very grounding. You offer just intuitive guidance and just such deep listening. It's exploratory and sort of open-ended. And at the same time, I walk away from every single session we have clear on my vision, on the steps that I need to take to get to that next step. You also put things in perspective so I don't feel overwhelmed. It's like, what's the next best step? And as a creator, I don't know if other people can relate to this. We have all these zingy ideas. And then when we go to start doing them, we can feel really overwhelmed. Like, I'm not seeing results right away, or I don't even know where to begin. And so you have this, I don't know how you do it still to this day, 5 years into our relationship, but you have this ability to like invite me to dream really big and also contain and direct how I like take steps to that next best thing to get me on that journey. And that's, like I said, that's some kind of magic because I don't know how you do it. I never see it coming. And that at the end of every session, that's where I land. So I'm going to stop there, but that's some of the taste of what it feels like to work with you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
My next question for you is, what are some of the ways I've helped you achieve your creative dreams?
In every way. I mean, literally, you're in the dedication in my book for sure. You're part of the reason that I even got that contract and the being open to having that TED Talk come into my lap. I think I started to answer that in the previous question. I think one of the ways that you have been a facilitator of me reaching all of the dreams I've had so far, and now we're working on some new ones together, is, as I said, you have this ability to help me help catch all of the narratives that I've collected over a lifetime that get in my way, that keep me from being a risk taker, which is really what you need to do to be a creative and to be a creator. And so many of us have those internal narratives. And even though I've been a narrative therapist and I do a good job of catching myself, you're such a really powerful partner in helping me catch the language that sometimes keeps me caught from taking whatever step I need to do to get to the next dream. So it's not just that you're an accountability partner, although you are, and I think we all need accountability partners in life, especially if we're creators. But you're even more than that because you sort of help pull away those barriers that I put in my place by the self-talk that I have, and you listen for that and reflect that. So that's one way you've been really an important facilitator. You're also just an amplifier of my dreams. I've come to you with some pretty audacious and bold ideas. Everything I've done since we've worked together is not something I've ever done in the past. This isn't just like leveling up in a new thing. I was just like, I'm going to become an author of a book, not something I had done before. And I've never seen you blink or shy away from that. You're just like, yeah, I see that. Let's go. And yet you're really helpful in starting to think about like, because I imagine many of your future clients have a lot of big dreams. You'll also be able to sort of help me contain them. Where do they start? How do they fit into your bigger dreams? So that's a little bit of the ways in which you help me do that. And again, I don't know how you do this, but one of the things that's been really meaningful for me is I have these dreams. I think I have a lot of self-motivation. Hopefully you would agree. I'm a doer. I get stuff done. You know, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But I can get very much caught up in my dreams or the doing. But as a creator, as a single parent, finances are a big deal to me. And I've got my hands in a lot of different jobs and tasks. And when I start to limit myself in my creativity because the financial worries feel overwhelming or disconnected from what I'm doing, you've really helped me sort of pause and have some sort of reorienting and like, okay, what is it going to take for you to live or feel confident so that you can reach back into your creative endeavors? And those pivot points along the way, which we've had, you know, over 5 years, at least 5 probably sessions where we've kind of reoriented to the reality of the finances, was really a game changer. And that not only helped me feel more at ease so that I could drop back into my creative self, you also helped me up level my financial earnings. I mean, year over year, because we were able to work together to do that. So those are just some of the ways that you've really helped amplify how much I've grown. And it really is crazy as we're sitting here talking to think about that coffee shop conversation. And I was maybe 5 episodes or something into my podcast, which I had sort of YOLO'd my way into. And the way that the synergy that we've found has been magical, back to my original answer.
It has been magical, and it's also been very step by step, and
Yeah.
you've done all of the work.
Yeah. Well,
And I drop in for an hour. A
yeah.
session is an hour, and it's I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's clear to me to listen to someone talking about their creative dreams.
Yeah.
I can hear the self-talk, I can hear the obstacles, but I can also just tap into your truth and your desire.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I'm helping you by just by reflecting that to you and helping you figure out how to clear the debris so you can just go forward. So
Yeah.
you have done all of the work. It's been tremendous. You are a tremendous doer, and it's been an honor to be any part of that.
Oh,
So,
thank you, my
yay.
friend.
And my next question for you is, as a long-term client of 5 years, what keeps you consistently returning?
I really cannot imagine being a creator without you, although I think certain people may need to drop in, you know, from time to time. And we've certainly sort of had more frequent engagement and then less frequent engagement, but a consistent client all these years. What keeps me coming back is well, first of all, we've built this really deep intuitive knowing about each other, and we can sort of drop in. We have a shorthand, and you know my history, and that's been really helpful because you've seen what I've tried, what I've scaled back, what I've scaled up. But what keeps me coming back really is each time I dream a new dream or figure out, or I'm somewhere along the path to achieving that dream, the way in which you bring that mirroring, which you said, but it's really compassionate mirroring. You have this ability to both, I'm not going to say cattle prod, but to sort of encourage and nudge while also offering compassion, but also the way in which you can tap into what my real clear essence and my clear vision is as an artist and a creator. And you help me. I'm a little bit like shiny object syndrome. Sometimes I can be like, oh, I could do that, or I could do that because I have those skills. And one of the reasons I keep coming back is you have an ability to not just know, but ask me the question and help me drop back into, okay, is that really aligned with where you are in your creative journey right now? And you kind of can help bring me back, you know, to where it is that my intention was. And because I keep reaching new thresholds in my creative endeavor. I mean, my platform is growing, the ways in which I'm showing up in the world is growing. And so even though there is some continuity and of course growth and familiarity in my skill set, I still need that mirror, that intuitive guidance, that collaborative partner, and also that just that reality check, accountability partner to help me make sure that I'm staying on track in continuing to achieve my creative goals.
How my next question for you is, well, I'm gonna rephrase this.
Yeah.
So we've both come from a place, myself included, maybe being at a point where we wouldn't even call ourselves a creative. Or I was at a place for years where I wouldn't call myself an artist. And now I very much do call myself an artist. And every time I have stepped towards my creative dreams, my life has opened up. It has given me so much. And this is part of the reason why I'm so passionate about helping other people say yes to that
Yeah.
impulse. Can you talk a little bit about what if you hadn't said yes to that impulse? I mean, what has saying yes to that impulse, how has that affected your life to say, yes, I have this creative dream. I'm not sure about it. I really don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes and I'm going to pursue it. What is that? How has that enriched your life?
I can't even imagine my life not having said yes, even though that was a big leap of faith for me, having been a social worker and been in the nonprofit space and sort of marched, though I had taken some leaps in creating a nonprofit years ago. It's enriched literally every aspect of my life. I've always done meaningful work as a social worker, but I now know that as a creative and a creator in the work that I've been able to do since we started working together, it is not cliche to say I am living in my purpose, which means I get to be spending my work days and my personal days, which are very much overlapped, though I do work on creating some space between them, really living authentically. So I get to show up in my work in the most authentic way because I dreamed up this whole series of things, the book, the podcast, the TED Talk, that you helped me recognize that I didn't have to put on some other version of me to be consumable. Obviously, different audiences, we adapt and mold so that we're serving each audience. But a part of what was saying yes and having you be the dream uplifter and the dream amplifier, but also kind of create a container for me, is it's allowed me to over and over again show up with confidence, show up in my purpose, and show up in my authenticity. And that has led to, I mean, I'm living beyond sort of my wildest dreams already in my work. And I feel like I'm just beginning. And that bleeds over into my personal life too, because first of all, there's so much satisfaction. And because I have practiced in my workday, living in my authenticity, I can't not be me in my personal life too. So the kind of energy that I show up in my creativity, we joke sometimes about the BQE, sitting in our BQE. Um, I get to show up in that way in my personal life too. And the compassion that I've had in my personal life and the empathy and the empathetic listening skills that I have in my personal life, you've helped remind me that that's very much needed in this creative endeavors that I do too. And again, so I didn't have to switch like, this is Lisa professional or creative hat, and then this is Lisa personal. I get to be me in every domain that I walk into. And I know for sure that's not just satisfying for me as a human, as a creator, but all of the feedback I've gotten from readers and listeners over the year has been exactly that, is that I get to show up in my authentic self. And then it's clear that I'm showing up in my purpose. And that's as a result of all of the consulting and coaching and support I've gotten from the relationship that we've built over the last 5 years.
Well, it's a result, I think, of if you have that, we're all creators, we're
Yeah.
creating all the time. But those of us who have that creative impulse, that creative desire, what I have found in pursuing mine is that I have become more of myself.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what you're saying. You get to show up more fully.
Yeah.
I feel more present, more dimensional, just more filled with authenticity, and you do carry that throughout, and that's I think maybe a result of following your creativity that's unanticipated,
Yeah.
but maybe one of the best, most fulfilling results of following this creative impulse and saying yes to it. So I've experienced the same thing, just being more me.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
that's
was really, that's such a good way of putting it. That was such an unexpected benefit of the work, is really, because I think I would have described myself 5 years ago as somebody who shows up, sort of authentically me. And in our work together and in exploring my creative endeavors, I recognized that there were still more layers to shed and that there was still more to discover about who I am and what my creativity can gift both me and the world. And that has been an unexpected joy, really, of being in this space and doing this work alongside you. Yeah.
I agree. And finally, if you could talk to somebody out there who's thinking they have a creative dream, they maybe can't call themselves a creator or an artist, think about you in the beginning, I think about me in the beginning, and they're hiding this dream, they talk about it a little bit, they don't really make time for it.
Yeah.
What would you say to them about pursuing it and possibly even getting some assistance in pursuing it?
Best decision I ever made. Do it. Take a chance on yourself, because you deserve to take a chance on yourself, and set up that meeting, even if it's just that one meeting, because you never know how powerful it can be to have someone in your corner who sees all the possibility about you and is not kind of weighted down by the things that your sister, your brother, your neighbor, your partner, right, your kids, your parents might be weighed down with. And you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And there's such a magical richness in the even just the act of self-care, of saying, I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to set this hour down to have this container to dream a little dream alongside this creative consultant. And you won't look back. I know for sure that is true. It's such a gift. And to anybody who might be thinking, like, I'm not enough, or I don't deserve this, or this is selfish, I am telling you, we are all creators. And actually, the more we step into our creativity and our authenticity, we are being more generous with the world. So, whatever those thoughts are, whether I don't have it, or it's selfish, or any of those kind of inner monologues that we might have, I encourage you to let that go and schedule that session with Krissy, because the magic that you're going to open up in yourself is going to have a ripple effect to the folks in your world and beyond.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for talking with me about this. It's been such an honor and pleasure to be your friend and work with you, and we get to keep doing it.
Yeah.
We're just pausing for this conversation, but we're in the midst of still working together and being friends and being part of each other's lives, and it's
Yeah.
just the best. Thanks so
My
much.
honor. Thank you, Krissy, for all that you do. Bye.